أهلا وسهلا فيكم ببودكاست جديد. معكم عمر أبيض. تعودتوا تشوفوني مكان تاني بس اليوم أنا هون، واليوم معنا سفير المملكة الهولندية مستر هانس. Welcome to Tripoli, Mr. Ambassador, or may I call you Mr. Hans?
By all means, I'm very happy to be in Tripoli.
Can you please tell us more about you?
Yes, I'm Hans-Peter van der Woude. I'm the ambassador of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Lebanon. And what not a lot of people know, I'm here for the second time. I've been here from 2009 to 2013 as a deputy ambassador. And since 2021, I returned as an ambassador. And return feels like coming home, but although they did change the house. It's a different Lebanon I got back to than the Lebanon I left in 2013.
Well, first of all, I want to say good luck to the national Netherlands team in the World Cup Qatar 2022. And I have a question before you start. Why is the uniform orange? Like the flag is blue, red, and white.
Yes. To be honest, I had to Google that myself. It's a very good question. The color orange derives from the name of the royal family.
Okay.
Let's say the founder of the Netherlands, William of Orange, was born in Nassau, at that time Germany, but then his cousin died and he was the Prince of Orange, so Willem also got the name Orange. So the name of the family is
So it's
Orange.
about the name.
It's about the name. The name of the family is Orange Nassau, and that's the reason why orange is the national color. And in earlier times, the national flag was orange, white, blue. But then for some reason, maybe they run out of paint or they run out of orange textiles. But I think the main reason that they changed it to red is that Holland was a naval power. And on sea, for some reasons, red is easier to see than orange.
Okay, that's weird.
But it's still, still all the Dutch teams, or whatever sport, they always play in orange.
Mm-hmm. What about the pin? You have a pin, like
the pin? Yeah, I have an orange pin,
yes.
And that has nothing to do with the Netherlands. It has nothing to do with any political party. The pin is a global action for 16 days against violence against women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hand Stop Violence Against Women. And as a Dutch ambassador, I wear this pin for 16 days to also show how important we find that violence against women stops.
As an ambassador of a European Union country, can you tell us more about the projects that you've been working on in Lebanon?
Yes. Let's say we have projects on three big topics, subjects. The first one is security, both security in Lebanon and in the region. We do quite a few programs with the Lebanese army, Lebanese armed forces. We are supporting demining, so the clearance of land for mines. And especially in times where there is a lot of pressure on food security, people need land to use for agriculture. Mine clearance is incredibly important. And what we see is during the last year, the number of accidents is increasing because people are using land which has not properly demined for agriculture, or people are looking for scrap metal in places which are unsafe. This mine clearance for us is very, very important. Secondly, we work with the army on integrated border management, so have an effective army to protect the borders of Lebanon. And the third one is we do civil-military cooperation with the army. That means that the army does projects in, let's say, the more fragile areas of Lebanon. Areas where most of the time the army is the most visible part of the Lebanese government, which on the ground helps people with real projects. That's one part, the security part. The other one is the humanitarian part and help to the economy in Lebanon. We are a big partner in humanitarian aid to Syrian refugees, but also more and more to Lebanese.
Lebanese and Syrian?
Yeah, at this moment, the international community, and Netherlands is a big donor within the international community, supports as many Lebanese as Syrians, and is sometimes even more Lebanese than Syrians, especially with food aid and cash assistance. The third part is we help the Lebanese economy. We are doing quite a few projects in agriculture to help support the productive sector in Lebanon, also to make export possible for people to earn cash dollars to pay for imports. What does it mean? We look at value chains. That means that through the whole product, we help farmers to increase their knowledge, to increase their capacity, to have better quality products, and also help them to what they need to know, what they need to do for exporting those products. That's one part. The second part is we support startups by young entrepreneurs, also in agri-food, but also in clean technology.
Okay.
And that leads to a lot of new companies who grow fast, who create jobs and who create income.
I really want to know why. Like, why such a country want to do all those projects in Lebanon? Like, what are your goals here?
Our goals, I think, for humanitarian, I think that is easy. It's also taking up responsibility. If there's a humanitarian crisis, people should be helped. And the Netherlands is let's say, a long-standing donor for humanitarian aid. I think it's also a moral obligation. Where people are in need, we should help. Why do we help the Lebanese economy? Because we have a long-standing relationship with Lebanon. Very few people know that in 1954 there was a big flooding in the Netherlands, the south of the Netherlands. Hundreds of people drowned, and the Lebanese people by themselves gave at that time $1 million to the Netherlands, which is a big sum of money at that time. So yeah, we also feel the responsibility to do something back. So both humanitarian as in helping the Lebanese economy. Because in the end, Lebanese themselves are able and will help to get Lebanon out of this crisis. We as a donor or as a country cannot do that. So we help the Lebanese getting out of this crisis.
Okay, so Mr. Hans, can we talk more about the immigration, like illegal immigration that is happening in the European Union countries and your country as well?
Yeah.
Can you just tell me more about it?
Yeah.
In your point of view.
It's very sad to see boats leaving with illegal migrants to Europe. We all know sometimes it goes wrong. People die, people drown in the seas. It's a very, very risky business.
Well, we're not talking about only Lebanon. You know that maybe Lebanon, Syria, occupied Palestine, all of these are going illegally to the European Union.
Yeah.
So they can live, as they say it.
Yeah. I understand the reasons why people live. If let's say if a country is in a heavy economic crisis, people think that okay, we take the risk to make our living in Europe. On the other hand, I also want to send a warning. Illegal migration is with a lot of risks. First, the voyage itself. Most of the time is organized by human trafficking. Yes. People who in the end only will provide transport for a lot of profit. It's very unsafe. We've seen accidents with ships. And even if people reach, for example, Greece or Italy, they will be placed in a camp. And it is not that just stay a few months in a camp, having a hard time that few months, and people then get a permit to stay. Let's say, people who don't, let's say, who are not formally refugees according to the Refugee Convention, will not get a permit. Oh. Which means that people or have to go back, or they live in illegality in Europe. And that's a very, very tough life. If you are an illegal migrant in Europe, it means you get low-paid jobs. It means that the cost of living will be very high because you have to live illegally. That means that a lot of people make money out of you. There's very, very little money to live on, and there will be no money to send back. So even for helping the family, illegal migration does not provide a solution. So where illegal migration is not possible, where legal migration is limited, simply by the number of people, the more important for us, as well as the Netherlands, is to let's say, to help provide opportunities for Lebanese, and especially Lebanese youth in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about helping the youth working in Lebanon instead of going out of Lebanon to the European Union countries, right?
Yeah.
So you have a problem maybe only to the illegal immigration, or you have a problem with the migration, the legal one too?
No, we don't have a problem with legal migration. On the other hand, legal migration is more limited. Mm-hmm. If we talk legal migration, we talk or about the resettlement of refugees, or we talk about, let's say, legal migration, for example, to get a job in Europe and to officially, let's say, to legally make your life or make your living in Lebanon. That's still possible. If, for example, Lebanese youth have skills which are needed at the European labor market, it's still possible to apply for jobs at companies in the EU. And if people fulfill the criteria of the member states of the EU, then it's possible to apply for a visa, a long-term, long-stay visa, to have a job in the EU.
Is it that easy?
It depends.
Well, if you think that maybe some people are paying $5,000 to $6,000 to $7,000 to go illegally to Europe, can they use this amount of money to go legally?
It's not. I think it's not a question of paying for legal migration. It's having the skills which are needed, especially at the European labor market, like in the same as the Gulf. And there, in the end, the cost probably will be paid by the company who hires you, because the company needs, let's say, also European companies need people, need employees. The advantage of Lebanon is Lebanon always has had a great reservoir of highly talented people.
Yes.
Quite a few friends of mine indeed moved to Europe as basically through legal migration, because they have the skills which is needed, which is looked for in Europe as well.
So, as an ambassador of a European Union country, do you prefer, or do you tell the youth in Lebanon, if they have skills, to stay in Lebanon or to go out of Lebanon? You live in Lebanon these days, and you know the situation.
Yeah.
So what do you tell them?
I understand Lebanese youth who will look for economic security, who will look for better economic opportunities, yes, who even would look for, let's say, further education outside Lebanon. I live in Lebanon, I've seen the crisis, I've seen the results of the crisis. I also see the wear and tear of the daily struggle for economic survival on people. I see it on my own staff in the embassy. Yes. So yes, I do understand why young people want to leave Lebanon. On the other hand, what worries me is that, like I said, Lebanon has a huge reservoir of talented, educated young people, and we see that number of people getting smaller and smaller because more and more people leave. At the same time, Lebanon needs its human capital. Lebanon needs its bright young people also to build on the, let's say, the renewal of the Lebanese economy. So I understand it. I feel sad that people are forced to leave for economic reasons, because no one should have to take the choice to leave the country they in the end love for economic reasons.
So you encourage them to stay and fight?
To stay and build.
To stay and build. That's good. Mr. Ambassador, we had some questions on a poll.
But I thought we would say Mr. Hans.
Yes, Mr. Hans. So yesterday we had a poll on social media. We asked a question: do you want to migrate? Almost everyone said yes. we had a question, why? Almost 50% of them was they want to find a good job. Because in Lebanon, you know the situation, and they can't find a good job. But the tricky question here is, do you want to go illegally or legally? 21% of them said yes, we are ready to go illegally to the European Union or out of the country. But the thing that maybe prevent them from going is financial issues, that they don't have money. They are not scared of going, but they don't have the 5-6 grants that people are taking, so they can take them out of Lebanon. So, how can you answer, or maybe do you have a comment on the questions?
Yeah. Thank you for doing this poll, because those are figures which I think which say a lot. First, it saddens me that almost everybody wants to leave. Like I said, Lebanon is a beautiful country with a lot of potential. So let's see how Lebanon can, let's say, use that potential and build. On illegal migration, it's not only a question of having the money to leave. We still think it's a very dangerous journey with lots of dangers, human trafficking, people are badly treated, people are only seen as a basis for profit instead of human beings. And even if you arrive in Greece or Italy, you probably end up in a camp. The chances on a, let's say, asylum or refugee status or a permit to stay are very limited. So, or people have to return, where basically they run a lot of risk and lost the money for let's say, traveling illegally, or they go into illegality in Europe, and that's a tough life. If you're illegal in Europe, you get the lowest jobs, the worst paid jobs. Your cost of living are high because you have to live rent illegally. So costs are high, protection is low, there's little money to save, and there will be almost no money to send back to the family in Lebanon. So sometimes there is a rosy picture of traveling to Lebanon, spend a few months in a camp, and then get a permit to stay.
People always say that, mention that this is the situation there.
Reality is harsh. Reality is different. Being illegal in Europe is no fun. It doesn't supply money. It's a very tough life, and it's a dangerous life.
Before you end, I have a question. Yeah. As part of the youth, what do you do for youth?
All our programs have a youth component. So if we work at entrepreneurs, we look at young startup, young entrepreneurs. If we look at agriculture, we also have special programs for young farmers or people who are interested in agriculture. It's very easy to talk about youth. It's always more difficult to talk with youth. And what we are building now is a youth advisory board at the embassy, where we will get feedback from youth from all parts of Lebanon and from all kinds of Lebanon on how we are doing. Do our programs also fulfill the needs of the Lebanese youth? So we are, like I said, at this moment we are building this youth advisory board. If you follow our social media, at a certain moment there will be a call for people who are interested to be part of that youth advisory board. It also means that we are not looking for one personal opinion. People who will be part of the youth advisory board also have to make their own network. So at the end we will not get, let's say, 8 to 10 individual opinions. No, we will get the opinions of broader groups behind the members of the youth advisory board. So keep following us on social media. There will be a call, January, February, there will be a call for people who are interested to be part of this youth advisory board. It's something we are as an embassy, we are very excited about, because it gives us in real time feedback on what we do, how we do it, and are we helping the youth in Lebanon.
Thank you, Mr. Hans, for coming to Tripoli and have this chit-chat with us about the projects that your embassy is doing in Lebanon and your opinion in the migration, the legal and the illegal immigration. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to be in Tripoli. It's a wonderful city with a lot of potential, and pleasure to be here at your place.
You know, you're always welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.